Yes, I understand.
It always says that, right? We're like, we know.
Yes.
Um, so I want to thank you for joining me. To introduce myself really quickly, I'm Devette. I am a Christian numerologist. I coach into successful relationships and personal confidence. Um, as a spiritual entrepreneur, I believe that we all have amazing and unique gifts that we've been given that we get to share with the world. And the world needs those gifts and our unique way of delivering them. So I have decided to spotlight some really amazing people from all walks of life that have different perspectives and ideas, and using this to inspire you to step into your power as well, your gift, and to give it out to the world. So today I'm super excited that we have Brian Elam. Awesome joining us today. And I am so fascinated by your perspective and your 100 coaches project, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. So if you want to, we can just dive in. You can tell us a little bit more about yourself and what that project is, and yeah, whatever you want to share.
Well, I'd be happy to. Well, first and foremost, Danette, thank you so much for the opportunity to speak with you today and to add value into your tribe, your universe. And I really do appreciate that.
Thank
So
you.
thank you. And then as far as me and what I do, like you said, my name is Brian Elam, and what I am is an entrepreneurship coach. And first-time life coaches hire me to basically get them all set up and have the confidence to get out the door and get clients after their certification. So once they get certified, oftentimes they're stepping into a new realm. Never started a business before, have no idea really what it means to identify an ideal client, to niche down, to figure out how to market themselves, how to put their messaging together, build their programs, all of these very important things that comes with starting a business, but they don't really have any idea how to do those things.
Yeah.
Well, that's where they hire me to help them with that, to guide them through that in a way that, like I say, aligns their spirit or who they are and how they want to show up in business to their business, which is very important, and what I feel is a disconnect going on in the coaching industry right now. And the 100 Coaches Project, like you mentioned, is kind of a vehicle to bridge that gap, to really understand what's going on inside the mind of a person who is a new coach. Because as a
Right.
coach, as a healer, you've got your own journey that you went through in order to discover your gifts that are unique, in order to build those tools in order to serve. But you have your own perspective, you have your own journey, and that is not the same perspective as your ideal client. So I'm using the 100 Coaches Project to give my ideal client a voice, to be heard, to let me know, hey, what are you struggling with? What do you think about this? What are you frustrated by? What do you fear? And then what do you want? What do you want out of this whole thing that you're building? Which is so, so important. And their feedback is going to build and help to build an amazing program that's going to help me complete my mission of helping 10 million people be successful in their first business.
Wow, that's huge. 10 million people. And when I think about that, I mean, I'm sure you are going to impact even way more than that, directly or indirectly, right? Because it's like a ripple effect.
Yes.
You stepping into your power inspires others to step into their power, which then inspires others and inspires others. I think that is a beautiful mission. And I'm just curious, what got you started in this, and what has been your biggest reason why?
Okay. So what got me started in this was my first business. So I started my first online business back in 2014. And I had the idea back in 2012, but I really didn't get started until 2014. But that business, it was going to be the Angie's List of natural healthcare providers.
Okay.
So I thought it was an amazing idea. And I got that idea while I was going through massage school, learning about the human body and how it heals and all the things that I didn't know about how to heal the body if you just support it and get out of the way. So I decided, if I didn't know all of this stuff, and I'm not a dumb person, but if I didn't know all this stuff, what does the average person not know? They need to know,
Right.
like they need to be able to connect with these healers that are doing all this amazing stuff. So I decided I was going to build it. And like the movie said, if you build it, they will come.
It will come.
Yeah. Well, Hollywood lies to you. I built it and nobody showed
They
up.
do?
So the impetus of my coaching journey was the failure of that first business.
Wow. Okay.
So
I like this.
Yeah. So once that business failed, because I got tired of supporting it with my own personal checkbook, I decided I'm not done. This fire to be an entrepreneur, this mission to help people, to stand on my own and to be that light, it wasn't gone. But I needed to figure out, okay, obviously there are things that I don't know about this whole business world. So got to go out there and start learning what those things are. And that began a 5-year, and continuing on to this day, because the learning never stops, journey to learn, okay, how do you start talking to people about your business? How do you sell a high ticket product? What does it mean to have a value ladder? How do you start constructing messaging? How do you speak to people in public, for God's sakes?
Yeah, that's a big one.
All of these things, right? And I remember I was sitting in my bed in the afternoon having a conversation with my mom on the phone, and I had just finished another program. And she said, Brian, that's great. You finished another one of these programs. You've been working so hard and learning all of this stuff. What do you want to do with all this knowledge?
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, it was like somebody took over my mouth. And I said, I want to help 1 million people be successful with their first business and inspire millions of people from stage. And both my mom and I were just, if we were in the same room, we would have been just looking at each other like, what?
You said that?
Yeah, what was that?
Yeah.
But that's when it happened. Until that very moment, everything had not coalesced into my business coaching vision until that moment. And from that point on, it's been all steam ahead.
Wow. I love how you mentioned that it was the failure of one business that led you to this, because people are so afraid of failure without realizing that, I like to say there's no such thing as failure, right? You're
Yes.
either learning or you're winning. You're either winning or you're learning. And that's just how it works. And if you don't fail, it doesn't lead you to that next step that you're supposed to be, because there's lessons there. What would you say were the biggest lessons of that failure or learning?
That is a great question. And 2 things jump to mind. Number one, first and foremost, the connection with actual real people. I was using technology basically as a shield in that first business. I thought that I could get away with sitting behind my computer, having this amazing idea and make millions of dollars. And that's just not how it works.
Right.
I know that now through that failure and the lessons that I've learned going forward. The other lesson that I learned through that is to do or to not do what I call chasing other people's money.
Okay.
So what that means is, in your coaching world, in your entrepreneurship world, wherever you fall on the spectrum of business, there are people that you look up to, probably, right? Like
right.
in business, who do you look up to, Devette? Do you have any gurus that you follow? Any people that are like, man, if I could just be like them, it would be amazing.
Yeah, I love like Mel Robbins. I love I forget her first name, but Bilyeu.
Oh, Tom. Oh,
Tom,
Lisa.
his wife.
His wife. Yeah, Lisa Bilyeu. Mm-hmm.
Lisa, right. I think she's so amazing. I I go through a lot of books and following, people online, that anybody that's inspiring. Yeah, like I love these type of strength, courageous, confident people.
Right. Right. And of those people that you admire and look up to, do they have courses or coaching programs available that you could go through and learn to do exactly what they did to build their business?
Yeah.
Do they
Yeah.
have
They're authors. They have programs.
have you gone through any of them?
I've gone through Mel Robbins, not her program. I've gone through her books, a couple of her books, and Lisa Bilyeu. I watch her interviews regularly, and I think they're pretty awesome. But that's about it that I've done with them.
Okay. Well, the thing what I mean is, and that's great. And those are great people to look up to, because I recognize Lisa and Mel Robbins as well. So they're great people to look up to emulate, to be inspired by. But the thing is, as great as those people are, and as much good as they're putting into the world, if they have a methodology that helped grow their business, that doesn't mean it's necessarily right for you.
That is so true.
They could have a piece, like a very integral piece of that methodology, that when you think about it, you're just like, I would rather die than do that. Like, that is not me. That is not how I want to show up. That I just know.
Yeah.
And then if you bought that program, what would you have? You'd have lackluster results or no results at all, because it wasn't aligned with you. And again, that goes back to aligning your spirit with your business, as in, don't chase other people's version of success or how they got there. Don't chase other people's money.
Wow, I love that. That is so powerful, because you think about, and I have a million books on, personal growth and mindset and success. And it's so funny, because you can read all the books, but if it does, you read it and then you put it back on the shelf, and then you're like, okay, I got to get the next book, and you read it and you put it back on the shelf. I'll have the book on audio. I'll have the book, that I can hold. And it's just like, okay, now what? It's like I'm learning it, but then taking the action is something completely different, because
Yes.
I'm not like them. I'm a totally different person inside. So I love how you say that, following other people's money. So trying to be successful like them doesn't mean being like them. They're being authentic to who they are, which is making them successful. So instead of being like them, aligning with who I am is what would make me successful, or an individual successful, is knowing who you are and being okay with that. You don't have to be a Mel Robbins, right? You don't have to be a Lisa Bilyeu. You, like, what does the cat in the hat, Dr. Seuss, say? No one is a better you than you, something like that. He has a quote, right? Yeah, that's powerful. I know I've heard you say in some of your videos too, something about freedom through entrepreneurship, and how entrepreneurship is really kind of, I think, a way, or a path to freedom for people now, as the world's changing. Everything's changing, so we better be changing with it. And so entrepreneurship is a big deal, a big aspect of that.
It is a huge aspect of that. And I truly believe that entrepreneurship holds the key to our future as a species, not just the future of, America or of your family, but literally the entire freaking world. Now, that doesn't mean that everybody has to be an entrepreneur. What that means is, being an entrepreneur allows you to have personal freedom, because everybody wants freedom.
Right.
Freedom to be who they are, to function how they want to function, worship how they want to worship, live the life that they want to live. Everybody wants that freedom, but that freedom looks different for everybody. So entrepreneurship gives a person who has those gifts or those skills to share, the ability to set that up and to achieve that personal freedom. And speaking about freedom, you had asked about my why earlier, and that gets into my why, which is, The mission is to help 10 million people be successful in their first business. The why is to then form a coalition of people who will be investors and supporters of free energy technology. That way we can rid the world of fossil fuels, nuclear energy, those stupid windmills that I freaking hate.
Oh, I hate it. California, I know. I hate seeing them.
Yeah, just get rid of all that crap. And there are technologies that are being researched and are being developed right now. This is not conspiracy theory. This is not hyperbole. This is not me fantasizing in a sci-fi world. These things are in development right now because, as you said, the world is changing. But we need people, and we need people with money and purpose to be able to support those things. And that is my why.
Gotcha. I love that. That again is really powerful. And I love how you include entrepreneurship to that, because the world is changing. And when you think about it, 100 years ago, everybody was in business for themselves. There were merchants, or they had some sort of service or trade. And, those 95%, I think, of people were some sort of merchant or entrepreneur. And we got so far away from that. And now everybody, is kind of factory mentality and, ABC, would you like fries with that? And just kind of doing this robotic thing, and getting back into, again, our special gifts, unique talents, and what we have to offer the world, whether you're a musician or, you're a coach, or you're a builder, or you're a cook, you have a special way of teaching, whatever that is, there's value in that. And that value trade is what the world needs, not to just go work in a huge, Amazon, but really honing into your skills. And, everything's energy. So when we're happy, when we're living our purpose, we're influencing the rest of the world to, raise the vibration of happiness. What have you found has been because I know a big part of this is mindset, and people are kind of stuck sometimes, like in their ways, and they hate change. What have you found has been like a challenge in that, in getting people to see things differently, or having a different perspective of what's possible?
Patience.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because the thing is, it's the whole saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
Yeah.
Now, that is an oversimplification of somebody being ready and willing to create change or make change in their lives, in themselves, because that's really where it starts. Everything works from the inside out. Right. Amazon was not, just poof, created a multi-billion-dollar company. It started from an idea and worked from one man inside out. So if a person is not ready for that perspective shift, if they're not ready for that change, then that's fine. It's not the right time. A lot of people, a lot of marketers and salespeople, especially in this high ticket space, will try to twist the knife of pain on people to make them feel like they can't go anywhere, can't do anything without this person's help or program, and that it's now or never. They put them up against that wall, and it's terrible. It's just terrible to be in that place as a prospect, to feel like, oh, this person was so happy to connect with me and so lovey-dovey, but now they've got a knife in my gut and I'm up against the wall and they're twisting it. Like, I don't like this. Like, I'm not ready.
Yeah.
So yeah, just don't try to force perspective shifts. Don't try to force changes. That's it. Speak to your ideal client and hold the space for them so that when they're ready, they can come to you, and it's free and it's easy for them. The energy flow is just effortless.
That's supposed to be easy, right? If it's not easy, it's, are you really doing what you're supposed to? Yeah, exactly. You're doing it wrong. And, the whole patience, I mean, yeah, if you plant a seed, I think Wayne Dyer says, you're not tugging at the root saying, come on, where's my carrot? You, right. You got to give it time. You got to water it, the sun, the rain, and as it develops, as it should in perfect time. Yeah. I find a lot of people have a hard time being patient. They kind of have the microwave mentality, right? It's just like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I mean,
overnight.
it's just the society that we live in right now. Every other thing we could possibly imagine, we have it instantly. We don't have to go to the well to pump water for the kitchen or to cook with. If we want something from a store, we can go on Amazon and we can click it and it'll be at our door maybe within that same day. So we don't have this patient mentality anymore around so many things in our lives. And that's how nature works. That's the laws of nature and the universe. It does not happen instantaneously. That was a man-made thing.
Yeah.
So, and the more that you come to grips with that, and the reality that in most cases, you're going to live a long, long time. And if you're really in this entrepreneurship game for the right reasons, you're in it for the long haul. And you have got to be aware that you're not going to get to that high place that you see in your mind for at least 10 years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot in between. A lot of the process, personal growth,
yes,
the failures that people are just terrified of, right? Just getting out of the box, doing something new that they're not used to. They're safe in their box of their, ABC, would you like fries with that? That's so comfortable. They're used to it. So getting out, and I think too, believing in themselves, right? Like,
yes,
believing that they can do that's possible. Am I worth it? I hear a lot of that.
You are touching on like my motto of business, which is, I'm not here to tell you how to run your business. I'm here to help you believe that you can.
Mm-hmm. I love that. It's like you're pointing them down here's where you got to go. It's your vision, right? It's their vision. They see it and you're like, you got this.
Yeah. And it's that support and guidance. And again, that ability to look around the corner, because where they're going, I've already been down that road and I know what's around that corner. And I know if it's a good call or not, because I've been there. I've walked that path. I've had a business that has failed. Yeah. I've had a business that, now, with coaching people, I've worked with, multi-$1,000 clients, so I understand the famine and the feasting aspects of it. So yeah, it's just so important to understand that, number one, you can. Number two, you have unique gifts that are of value and of service, and that you need support. You cannot do this on your own. I tried the lone wolf path, to be one man behind a keyboard, and it doesn't work. It's a fallacy. Again, it's a construct of our reality that we're in right now, thinking that all we need is this technology and the screen in front of us and we can be millionaires. And that's just not true.
Yeah, that's a fast way to self-sabotage, right? It's like you think you can handle everything and really you're figuring it out along the way. It's so much easier to work with an expert, someone who's walked the path, knows what they're doing, believes in you, and can cheer you on, because it is available for all of us. Life is abundant, right? Like, how many stars do we need, in the sky? Trees and fruit and vegetation, and just everything shows us how abundant life is. But we have this idea that there's not enough, and there's this scarcity, and there's this fear, when they don't realize it's available for them. They can be an entrepreneur, whatever that looks like for them, and be successful if they're passionate, if this is truly what their passion is, what their gift is. And I think that's what life is about, is being able to enjoy your journey, right? Yeah. And living your life, and like you said, freedom to be with your family and do the things that you love. That's exciting. That's really exciting. who's your ideal type client?
So my ideal client, as I said earlier, would be someone who is just getting started as a life coach. Either they've been they've been in business for a year or less, right? So either they are just getting started or they're taking the solopreneur route and just struggling and fumbling and just can't seem to crack that code and figure it out to really, start getting down the path to where they could be independent if that's what they want. So that is my ideal client. Now, whether that person is, working at a corporate 9 to 5, or if they're working at McDonald's flipping burgers, doesn't matter. If you are that beginning life coach who hasn't quite got figured out how to get your messaging, your ideal client, your marketing, all of that together, and you need help, that's where I'm here to serve you.
Awesome. I love that. And I appreciate your stand in the world with this. I know how much this is needed across the world. I'm a little nervous about the next generation, children growing. I mean, I have grandkids, and I'm like, what is the world going to look like when they're older? So someone like you who's standing for them to have that permission to be powerful is just, it's beautiful. And I appreciate that, with every bit of who I am, that you're inspiring. Yeah. And the fact that you're inspiring others to be that as well it's awesome, because that ripple effect, then they're going to go out and inspire, and it's just going to keep going, and it comes back around. So God bless you in this journey. If anyone wants to find you, they see this video and they want to know more about you, you have a website, or are you on social media? Where can they find you?
So the place to connect with me, where I'm doing the most content and outreach, is actually through Facebook.
Okay.
So you can find me, just go to Facebook, type in Brian Elam, and you should find a black and white picture of me kind of, listening to people, that
Okay.
kind of thing.
Okay.
I also do have a website. If you go to brianelam.com, it's pretty easy to find that. And yeah,
Okay.
you can connect with me either of those two places, and I would be happy to connect with you. If you are that new coach, please let me know if you're interested in participating in the 100 Coaches Project, because I would love, again, to hear your perspective of how it's going and what you want to build out of this crazy, wonderful life that we have.
That's amazing. And a lot of coaches get stuck and they don't know, that's where they stop. So you're ideal to help them break through whatever that wall is, just push past it. And, as you're cheering them on and fanning the flame, I think that's really awesome. So Brian Elam, and it's ELAM.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So Brian Elam on Facebook, and that's your website as well, brianelam.com.
Right.
I will certainly, anybody that I know that fits this, new coaching, life coaching, or entrepreneur, ship that they're wanting to take on, I'd be more than happy and excited to send them your way.
Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you. Is there any last words or any insight that you'd want to leave to anybody out there?
Just, well, two things. You mentioned, maybe before we hit the record button, how important it is to be real and to be yourself. And in the presence of that, in the vein of that, I want to disclose that I get downloads from God, from the universe. And so if I'm speaking to someone and I have an insight that needs to be shared, it will come through for that person.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that, full transparency there.
Awesome.
The other thing is, and the reason I mentioned it, because as I got that download that said, mention one more time, that you have permission to be powerful. Now claim it.
Ooh, that's powerful. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. if you want to hear more from Brian, please look him up. I'm going to put your links when I get this uploaded to YouTube. I'm going to put your links on there, and anybody that has any questions can comment, but I'll definitely push them your way. So thank you so much for joining me on this. God bless you. And God bless all the people that you're going to touch and who they're going to touch in that whole ripple. So we need more of you. So thank you again. So
it's my pleasure.
We'll
Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Awesome. Well, see you later, everybody. Haven't figured out my clothes yet. We'll see ya.